Hi, welcome to another episode of Webcam Sessions. This week we're going to be working on the E chord, which is like the bane of ukulele players' existence. And we're going to work on 3 different ways to play it. So hopefully you can find one that works well for you or another one that you can add to your arsenal. I'm going to be playing this ukulele today, which you can actually go win if you'd like. We're going to be doing a giveaway here. Last week was the 50th episode of Webcam Sessions, and Connie Lea Ukulele graciously sent me this uke to give away on this show. So I'm going to be picking a random entry based on a lesson idea and sending this ukulele to whoever's I pick. It'll be all random. And then I'll teach a lesson of that lesson idea. So be sure and check that out. It's in the link in the description below if you haven't already. But I figured I'll use this for today's lesson because it sounds so good. I'm going to miss sending it because it's awesome. I love playing it. So let's talk about the E chord. An E chord is terrifying for most ukulele players, and rightfully so, because it's a really hard chord. The way that it's traditionally taught typically will be to take all 4 fingers, but take your middle finger and stack it up on the 4th fret of the G string, your ring finger on the 4th fret of the C, your pinky here on the 4th fret of the E, and then your index here to the 2nd fret of the A. And you might just be looking at this and thinking, there's no way I can do that. And to be honest, this I find to be, even though it's the most popular way to be taught, I find it to be the most difficult way to do an E chord. I just think that it's really unrealistic, especially when you have larger hands, to get all 4 fingers in there. It's really tough to do. A couple tips though to make it easier is try to stack the fingers and kind of scrunch them together, getting as close as you can to the fret wire here. And just practice kind of getting the flexibility of those fingers to be put on those points. And then with the index finger, it's okay for it to become more straight back here, so it's not bent. You can see that that knuckle is becoming more straight as it goes on. Tries to make it a little bit easier, so getting right up next to the frets can help. But let's go ahead and work on a different E chord. And right now I want to work on the easier E chord. And it still sounds great. In fact, I prefer it in most situations. And what that is take your index finger, bar it all the way across the 4th fret of the ukulele. Then take your pinky and add it onto the 7th fret of the A string. So we have 4, 4, 4, 7. And when you do this, if a bar is something new for you, what you can do is take your middle finger and stack it over that index finger to give it more reinforcement. And also it helps to go right up against that fret wire so that you're not coming back here. The more back you are, the harder it is to fret. You want to be right up like that. Take the other finger, stack it over, add the pinky on the A string. And when you do this, your E chord sounds something like this. Right? And so if you're going from like an A chord to an E, this one is going to work just as well as this one here. But you'll notice it's going to sound just a little bit brighter. And I like that personally. I like the brighter sound of that E. I actually think that it sounds more full. And the reason is because we actually have this octave between our C string and our A string, which just opens up the chord a little bit more. Some people, though, don't like this version of the E chord as much because of its brightness and because it's a little bit too kind of high sounding. But it will work because an E chord is an E chord. Every single time you play an E, you're going to have the notes E, G sharp, and B. And one of those notes on a ukulele will be doubled. And so when I'm playing my E chord down here, I'm playing essentially a B note on my G string, an E note on my C string, a G sharp note on my E string, and another B note on my A string. And you can hear the G and the A strings are playing the exact same note. However, if I play this new E chord, which I find easier and I like the sound of more, I've got a B note here, an E note here, G sharp here, just like before. But now I'm going to have another E note only up top here on the A string in the what we call octave to what's on the C. So that just creates a fatter sound, and I love it. That's my favorite way to do an E. But let's say that you're really, really wanting the sound of the E chord down here, but you're wanting to be a little bit easier. What you can do is something that I learned here on Ukulele Underground, and Aldrine teaches this absolutely in the best way because this is how I got over that hurdle, was watching videos here on Ukulele Underground. And what that is trying to use your ring finger to do a partial bar across all 4 across the 4th fret of the G, C, and E strings. So you're going to take this finger You're going to lay it across the string, and you're going to try to have it come up right where the A string comes off on the ukulele. So you see that little space there. So if right now you're touching the A string, what you'll need to do is move your ring finger up. And if you're finding that you're not able to hit that G, you need to move it down a little bit. It's just trying to find that perfect place where that A string can ring open. Now, fingers aren't meant to bend backwards, right? That's the number one complaint I get. And it's true, they're not. But they will at these sort of knuckle joints right here. They'll bend just a little bit, and you don't need much to be able to clear it. And so what you want to do as you're working with this is look at that sort of divot on the knuckle and try to place the E string right around in there so that you can try to get that A string to be raised off. So it looks something like that. Now, a lot of times people are told to then just take the index finger and push it here on the second fret of the A string. And I find that really hard, and this is the cool trick I learned from Aldrine, which is take that index finger and lay it across all 4 strings. Now, it really only needs to play the A string, right? Because our ring finger is responsible for the others. But by laying it across all 4, it gets our fingers to be kind of this straight up and down motion. And we can have our middle finger kind of come over the top to help reinforce that bar. And it takes a little bit of fudging to find the exact position. But once you do, this is probably the easiest way to play that traditional E chord. Again, it just takes a lot of work to get that to be the partial bar. It's kind of like yoga for your fingers. And if you can't do it right now, that's okay. It's one of those things where, just like yoga, you're going to get better with it as you practice and increase your flexibility. So that's what the goal is. So I hope one of these 3 E chords will help you out. I hope that, the brighter E up the neck, if you haven't played that before, you enjoy it, because I love the sound of it. Next week, I'll be announcing the winner of this ukulele and doing a lesson on whatever their submission was. So at the time that you see this video, I probably have not yet recorded the video for the winner. So please feel free to check out that link below and enter, because I'm just pumped to give this to some lucky person who hopefully will enjoy it as much as I have in just a little limited time I've been playing with it. So way cool. Well, have a great week, and I'll see you guys next time on another episode of Webcam Sessions.